Hi, Scorpio. Let's take a look at your new moon, January 16th, 2018 cycle. It's Erin Scott here. You can see that I am doing an art channeling for all the signs this month. Charcoal on paper, and just seeing what forms, images, shapes, pictures, symbols, archetypes, what is it that wants to come through? Typically there's an initial form, a shape, a form that wants to come right off the bat. I have to tell you, your image came kind of clearly, and it came rapidly. Some of them do. This month some of them did, some of them did not. So here you can see some forms beginning, and it was an upward sweep from the sides. And essentially what's being created here is a fire. So these are flames that are developing. Almost like a lotus flower too, is how it looks. But the feeling was fire. And the squiggly lines kind of designate a lot of energy coming up and out. And it's a big image. The image is essentially taking up the whole paper, which has not happened with all the signs. And you can see there's wood at the bottom. The wood, the foundation for the fire is there, thick, big logs. So the fire seems to be prepped to last a while. And again, the flames look for me like a lotus flower. So there's something here about rising from the mud, the beauty of nature, the beauty of your nature, rising from the mud. But this is about fire. This is about emergence. This is about creative energy rising. And it's rising from the burning logs, where there's ash. This is alchemic. This is transmutation. And indeed, that is the archetype of Scorpio, death, rebirth. This month, as we start this dynamic, very powerful 2018 portal, and by the way, the next several years are going to be very dynamic. It's an important year. It's an important year for alignment, for clarity. You can see in the middle of this fire, there is an egg form that is coming. So, and it's a huge egg. It's essentially filling up the whole central space of the fire. So, something is being prepped for birth, and it's being prepped for your transmutation. Through your transmutation, this is being born. So this egg is emerging out of your fiery death rebirth process that is activated now. And it's activated with the Jupiter moving through Scorpio. It's not that you don't imbue the forces of transmutation, you do. But with Jupiter moving through this sign, it is very dynamic. And you can see, so with this massive egg, this massive creative emanation that is prepped, it's being birthed, it's still an embryo. Now from the egg, you can see these brown lines that are emerging, curved up and through the flames. What that says to me, Scorpio, is that in the month of January, February, for this new moon cycle between the 16th of January and the middle of February, indeed, there are threads, there are tentacles of birth beginning to shoot through the flames of your active process of change and evolution that are coming up and out into the world from the egg So there's a bigger birth. What I want to say to Scorpio is there's a bigger birth that is still in process. However, you're already sending out feelers. You're already doing your research and your prep. You're already releasing seeds of the bigger birth of you, of your bigger birth of the work that you are maybe aligning yourself more and more for more of a contributory role for humanity. That's what I get, because this fire is massive. You know, these wood logs are massive. The egg is massive. It's filling up the whole central, it's the main predominant image, and it's filling up the whole central portion of the paper. So you can see there's kind of a horizon line, a soil line that I added to the back there, beyond the flames, beyond the tentacled egg that is reaching out, up and out through the flames. So it's getting air. Your creative emergence is gaining, it's getting, I want to say like air time. It's starting to come alive, even though the egg is not cracked open yet. You can see at the ground level here, essentially underneath the soil line, and next to, swimming next to these wood logs that are stoking the fire, is a fish. So there's a fish. Certainly fish is able to live, only lives in water. The emotional realms, the intuitive realms, that's how it survives. That's how it lives. It lives in that realm. This fish is on land. And there's these lines that are penetrating, these dotted lines penetrating from the eye line of the fish through, essentially, to the other side of the wood that is stoking the fire. The compost, the earth matter that is providing the flames, the ashes of all of your compost of self that you have been processing over who knows how many years. This fish, intuitive, emotionally mature, is on land now in this image for you, and it is, for me, very clearly representing the ability to, number one, X-ray see. The perception is clear because that fish is able to see through the compost pile, through the ashes, through the solid foundations of the wood at the base of the fire to the other side. To the other side. So what this is saying to me is that there is an optimistic view, an ability to understand, an ability to see that a lot of Scorpio suns are right now in the egoic evolutionary state of becoming over this month. There's an ability to understand that there's bigger things that are prepping, and certain things are happening this month, and certain actions are being taken by you that is going to bring about the initial stages of what you'll ultimately see with regards to the egg that will eventually crack open. Scorpio, you can see that there was an arc that wanted to be created over the fire. It's essentially perhaps in the background beyond the fire, but the feeling was that it was actually almost an encapsulation of the fire, and the tentacles coming up through the egg become fractal. They become like a root system, like the leaf veins. They become extensions of itself. So in a fractal unfolding, the tentacles of outreach that you are starting to engage during this cycle, it's penetrating beyond any perceived limit, any perceived constraint, or any real limit or any real constraint that you are experiencing in the now. So even with any kind of container that's activated for you with regards to your processes that you're undergoing, the creativity that is bubbling within, that's birthing, that's going through a cooking process, as it were, prepping itself for some birth later on, you still have the tentacles emanating out through that boundary. There is some creative emanation that is being birthed. In the meantime, it's starting to come alive. The tentacles are coming out. So things are beginning to stir and be seen, heard, acknowledged. So a perfect month to let the transmutation continue, honor the process, really honor the compost pile, honor the ashes of the death rebirth that has occurred for you over the last several months, over the last several years, and move forward with mindfulness, gratitude, strength, courage, confidence. Sending you love.